I love food. Food is enjoyable to eat and make. It brings everyone together, and we can enjoy each other's company because of it. But when it comes to my personal identity and culture, it takes on an odd aspect, though not in a bad way. For the most part, I eat whatever is put in front of me. I'm not too picky. I have no problem eating other cultures' food, and I don't necessarily stick to quote-unquote American foods. Sure, I eat a lot of it, but I eat plenty of other cultures' foods too. This can probably be traced back to my late Grandpa Marshall. He served an LDS mission in Mexico, and from what I can tell, he loved the food there. Over the years, this branched out to other cultures, as he was willing to try just about anything. I remember making pizzas, Mexican breakfasts, whatever with him. And he loved to cook. His love of food was so profound that he made a couple of family cookbooks from all the recipes he acquired over the years. He shared his love of food with my brother and me when we were very young, and I do mean young. When we were brought home from the hospital after we were born, Grandpa took us in our car seats, placed us on the counter, and explained what he was making, how to make it, and what all the herbs and spices in the dish do and what they smelled like. And this was when we were only a few days old. I don't make as much food as he did, but I do know a good chunk of knowledge from him. You're probably wondering, that's great and all, but how does this relate to other cultures? Well, this didn't come from my grandpa, but one of our favorite dishes my brother and I like to make is green curry chicken, a Thai dish. As college students, we don't make it very often, but we still manage. When my parents were living in the Tri-Cities area in Washington State, there was a Thai restaurant they loved to go to. They were able to convince the restaurant to let them have a copy of their recipe for green curry chicken. Nowadays, my brother and I make it on a periodic basis. We frequent the Asian stores to find some of the ingredients we need for it, and my brother even grows Thai basil in her garden, since it's harder to find. Keep in mind that we're white American boys with Northern European ancestry. We also go to Japanese, Chinese, and Mexican restaurants because we love the food there. Another food habit that I picked up is jarring or canning. I don't do this on as grand a scale as my grandmother, but I still do it. The main thing I jar is dill pickles, and I've been doing it for a couple of years now. Not only do I jar them, I also grow the ingredients too, mainly the cucumbers and the dill. I may grow the garlic eventually too. There's just something about growing a food item and then being able to preserve it for a later date. It's a lot of hard work, and sometimes I'd rather be doing something else than weed the garden, pick cucumbers, or put everything together, but the end result is so worth it. Since I am LDS, or Mormon, same thing really, my food habits reflect this. Because of the commandment we call the Word of Wisdom, I avoid any alcoholic beverage, coffee, and tea, as they are considered bad for ingestion. I do have another reason to avoid alcohol too. I have some ancestors who were terrible alcoholics, which means that I would quickly fall into that as well if I were to drink alcohol. Plus, I don't like how it impairs people and makes them stupid beyond belief, so I'd rather stay in control of what I'm doing. Being a Mormon also comes with a few traditional meals. Most famous would likely be funeral potatoes. Basically, potatoes and cheese mixed with cream of chicken soup, onions, and sometimes cornflakes. Depends on the person who's making it, really. There's a saying that goes, "It's not a funeral unless there are funeral potatoes." And to be honest, there have been very few Mormon funerals I've attended that didn't have funeral potatoes. Another thing that affects my food choices is that I'm a runner, a long-distance runner. Because my high school coach always told us to drink plenty of water, after doing it for so long, I now almost constantly carry a water bottle wherever I go. I also eat a lot of carbohydrates, as it is the go-to nutrient for runners, especially if there's a meet the next day, when you need to have the most energy readily available. This means, for me anyways, that I eat lots of breads and pastas, and I have no problem with that. I should also mention that I am a full-time college student who also works part-time. This means I'm usually very busy between school and homework and work. I don't have time to make much besides frozen food items or going out to eat. I don't particularly like doing this, but what are you going to do when everyone gets home and are too tired to spend the time to make something? I'm trying to save money for next semester too, which means that if I stay late on campus after I eat the lunch I packed, I generally don't eat anything else until I get home. Because I need the money. It doesn't seem too bad until you take into consideration that I live in Orem, Utah, and my school campus is in Salt Lake City, Utah. Oh, and did I mention that I take public transportation to get to and from school? Because I take public transportation to get to and from school. Work keeps me busy too, but there are some perks of working at a greenhouse. Since our company sells farm produce, mainly that they've grown themselves, if the season is right, we employees can snack on fresh fruits and vegetables that we sell. We don't have to pay for them when we do. Our boss's only stipulation is that we don't eat too much, and that we try to eat the smaller items. I really like it when it's peach season. Other than that, my food is on the fly, really quick to prepare sort of stuff. I realize that may not be the best diet, but I haven't put on the freshman 15 yet, so I must be doing something right, especially since I'm a sophomore. So that's really how food affects my culture and identity. It's a fluid mix of things, and it'll most likely change in the future one way or another, especially if I go on a mission. And food is just great. Like I said before, I love it, and there's nothing that will change that.